We are kept away from our goals not by obstacles, but by the clear path that leads to a lesser goal. Hi there, this is Gaurav Gupta, your life and business success strategist. Welcome to the Daily Snippets. Once upon a time, there lived a king who one day devised an experiment to test the character of all his people, especially his ministers. There was a road which led to the kingdom. This was the road between the village and the kingdom. On that road, one day, the king placed a big, huge boulder or an obstacle to block the road. And then he hid himself behind the bushes to see what are the reactions people have on looking at this boulder which is blocking the only way to the kingdom. One by one, as he observed, various people, including his own ministers, they came, they looked at the rock, they shook their heads in disappointment. Some were frowning, some were angry, some were just disheartened, and they just turned away to find another path or another way to the kingdom, or some of them gave up. Okay, there was an obstacle, that's why I'm not going to the kingdom today. The whole day passed. The king was very disappointed. Not even a single person came and tried to remove that obstacle from that way or that path. Towards the evening, something strange happened. An old peasant who was walking, he saw this obstacle right in the middle of the road. He looked at the obstacle, kept thinking, and thought to himself, "Oh my God, this is the only way to go to the kingdom. If this way is blocked and there's nobody who will remove this obstacle from here, there are many people who will be confronting difficulty." He kept thinking, and after a while an idea struck. He looked around and found a small stone. He brought the stone and kept it next to the bigger boulder or the bigger obstacle, and using his bamboo shaft, which was very strong enough, he created a lever, a simple machine called lever, so that he can lift this stone. Using all his might, he was able to move the stone just enough so that he could pass through. But he did not stop there, because his objective was to clear the complete way for everybody. So as the stone moved, he moved his lever or the machine further, and using all his might, he was able to finally clear the entire path. To his surprise, as the stone was lifted, under the stone was lying a big bag full of gold coins. This was the moment when the king jumped out of the bushes and said, "Well done, my friend." The peasant recognized that this is the king. He bowed down. He said, "Your Majesty, thank you so much." He said, "This bag belongs to you." He said, "Your Majesty, I do not deserve this." The king said, "No, I had kept this bag as a reward for somebody who would try to remove this obstacle. And I was surprised that you, despite being old, were the only person in the entire day who has actually moved this stone or tried or attempted to move the stone. No one else, including my own ministers, even gave it a thought that we can at least attempt to try to move this boulder so that there's way made for themselves and for others. This bag of gold coins is your reward for your compassion and your courage." My ministers forgot that obstacles are not kept in the way to be bogged down by or boggled at, but to be surmounted. Obstacle itself is the reward, obstacle itself is the way. We are all confronted with various obstacles in each and every aspect of our lives. It could be our professions, our business, our personal life, relationships, health, and sometimes these obstacles are so large that we do not know what to do. Remember, the larger the obstacle, the bigger the victory would be. It is in those moments you should remember the king's words that the obstacle itself is the way. I came across a beautiful book by the same title called Obstacle is the Way, written by author Ryan Holiday. In this book, the author gives us 3 simple steps that will help us break through any obstacle. Here are the 3 steps. Perception, action, will. Perception. Whenever confronted with an overwhelming problem, always be very objective. Remember, the seeds to solve that problem are within the problem or within the obstacle. But if you get clouded here, you'll not be able to think through clearly and you'll not be looking for the solution. So be very objective, do not get emotional, do not get overwhelmed. And the third one within perception is have perspective. You can have perspective by talking to your own self and imagining as if you're talking to a mentor or guide, or to actually talk to a mentor or guide who can give you a different perspective on the problem, and then you'll be able to think through clearly. Action. Remember, every problem has a weakness. The bigger the problem, the bigger the weakness. To understand this, I will share with you the story of Euclid. Euclid was a Greek warrior. When he was born, he was very weak. His mother was scared that he would die someday. So she went to the magical river, which is a river which separates the underworld from the earth. And she dipped Euclid into that river, holding him just by his heel. When she brought him out, he became immortal and indestructible. However, Euclid's weakness was the heel, because the heel did not get dipped in the water. It was very much the weakest point. And the story says he was the greatest warrior. He went to many battles. He was totally indefeatable till the time somebody hit an arrow into Euclid's heel. So remember, no matter what the problem is, it will always have a weakness, and the bigger the problem, the bigger the weakness. Understand this, create a process, focus on results, and take action. Lastly, will. Anticipate failure. There would always be chances of failure, and if you plan carefully and do a reverse or backward calculation, that is the time you will be able to cover all your bases and your chances of failure would be much lesser. Secondly, remember within will that there would be things which are out of your control. There would always be things which will come as a last moment surprise to you. So rather than getting bogged down or surprised, do a proactive calculation and be open in your mind. It's okay if things do not happen the way you plan. Adopt another plan or do something else, a different strategy or a different plan of action. And finally, enjoy the process and persevere. If you persevere, no matter what the obstacle is, you will be able to walk through it or break through it. If you follow these 3 steps, perception, action and will, your own ability to handle any obstacles will be much more stronger. And with practice, you will understand that the journey itself is the reward, the obstacle itself is the way. I'll see you soon in my next video. Till then, stay blessed, keep rocking, and remember, we are kept away from our goals not by obstacles but by the clear paths that lead to lesser goals. Thank you.